This will be a quick video on how to change out your spindle bearings. First thing you're going to do is flip the machine upside down. Then using a 1/16 hex key, you're going to remove all the screws off the bottom and remove the bottom. Sometimes the bottom will stick. Just give it a little up tap and it'll come right off. And you'll see a little screw. That's the bottom bearing of your spindle. So you're going to want to get that screw out using a 5/32 hex key and an extension. By doing that, you're going to probably want to hold on to that bottom pulley so that screw will come out. Once you get the screw loose, just remove it, and that side's done. Now you can flip the machine over. Now you can remove the wheel guard. You're going to use your 1/16 to remove these two screws. You're going to use a 3/32 to remove these screws here. After you get all these screws out, remove the wheel cover. That exposes your belt, and that's how you would adjust your belt if you have to. But now you have to loosen up the motor and get that belt off. Using a 9/64 hex key, you just have to crack them loose. You don't have to take them completely out. You just need to move the motor to get the belt off. Going back to your 5/32, you can remove these three screws. After you get these three screws out, the spindle assembly should come out. Of course, if you have a stuck one like I do, you might want to use a punch. You can see at the bottom there's a dowel. Right down there. You want to knock out that dowel. That'll push out the whole assembly. You can get at that through the bottom. A couple quick taps on the dowel and that spindle assembly comes off. So you just have to push down on the bottom bearing. The bottom bearing should fall out like that. Top bearing is a little more complicated. You're going to want to take that pulley off. Using the 5/64, you're going to loosen off the set screws. And you may have a burr, but it will come off. Now all you have to do is get the spindle off the bottom bearing, and there it is. So it's pretty much self-explanatory. You can get that bearing out and then replace the new ones and put it all back together. Now when you replace this bottom or top bearing, you're going to want to get a socket about that size when you press it in, because it does sit a little lower than this flat right up here. So you want to have that seated all the way in the bottom so your heights of your spindle are correct. So make sure you find a socket that fits the diameter of that bearing, so when you press it in, a little tapping with a hammer will get it all the way down to the bottom. You should be okay.